Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Yes, guys, still having the phone issue. I don't know. I may have to take my phone in somewhere to see if something's eating up the phone storage or something. I don't know what's going on, but it's not wanting to do anything. I don't even understand because I don't open up any files or anything. So we're still having to do it this way. But let's not complain over spilled milk. As long as we get the information out, that's the only thing that matters. Now, guys, I have told you guys about Audrey over on TikTok. Now, I'm going to put a link to her TikTok account down in the description below. She's got great information, and that's what I want us to talk about this today. So, hold on, let me put my glasses on right, and I'm going to share the screen because this is some info I really and truly want you guys to see and hear. So let's see here. Let me share my screen. All right, guys, here we go. Hold on.
Her mama forced doctors to give it to her, but she did not need a CPAP machine, and that her mama forced doctors to give it to her. But let's look at her medical file because it tells a different story. And I would like to point out that this was done in 2004 when Gypsy was 12 years old and was still living in Louisiana. This says Gypsy underwent an overnight evaluation on June 29th. But why? To perform a therapeutic trial with nasal CPAP in a patient with a history of unclassified neuromuscular disease and progressive nocturnal hyperventilation. But what is that? Hyperventilation describes the state in which a reduced amount of air enters into the lungs, resulting in low blood levels of oxygen, O2, and increased levels of the body's waste gas, carbon dioxide. It can be caused by breathing that is too shallow, breathing that is too slow, obstructed airways, or restricted or damaged lungs.
Guys, I just want to add in here. Remember that closet that was filled up with all that medication. Remember all of that medication. Well, a lot of that medication was inhalers and things for her lungs. Remember that, guys? Because I think that's kind of strange. The picture all fits together.
And it says here that Gypsy fell asleep within 5 minutes of lights out, and that they recorded 475 minutes of her sleeping, which is almost 8 hours. Of those 475 minutes, 250 minutes actually indicated a sleep efficiency of 52%, which is low. Sleep time was adequate for an accurate interpretation of the cardiorespiratory events. In summary, the term of sleep architecture, this study revealed the overall normal sleep architecture. And they started this study with a CPAP on her at 4 cms of water and went up to 5. And this is a picture from that sleep study.
And remember, they use that picture for everything. Everything. Because when you look at it, it makes you think, oh my gosh, look at the sick child. So if you remember, this picture is like everywhere.
A picture often used by Gypsy and her family to show how medically abused she was. But none of this is intrusive. It's just little pieces of tape with electrodes on your skin. But let's get further into these results. The patient spent all of the time with oxygen set above 95, with an average oxygen saturation varying REM and non-REM was 97.5 and 97.9 respectively. This indicates an adequate oxygenation with the use of the nasal CPAP. Analysts of the entitled PCO2, where the CO2 was mostly in the range of low to mid 30s, with CPAP of 5 cms of water. This indicates that the resolution of nocturnal hyperventilation with the use of the nasal CPAP. In summary, the study revealed an evidence of significant nocturnal hyperventilation resolved with the use of the nasal CPAP at 5 cms of water, meaning that test could not be faked. Also, here are the things that can cause that.
Did you guys see that? Let me see if I can pull that back so you guys can see that. Let me see here. Hold on. You see that? Breathing muscle can occur during. See?
Test could not be faked. Also, here are the things that can cause that. Gypsy loves saying that she.
So, guys, very interesting. Very, very interesting. And she wants to keep saying that her mother just came in there and her mother told the doctor to write down all of the things that were wrong with her. And you can see here, there's no way that Dee Dee did anything. She did not do anything to ruin this test or say this test was manipulated by Dee Dee. Because if you listen to Gypsy, that's what she is saying. Because she's even got a new thing that she's saying. Hold on, I'm going to show you. Okay, guys. So if you didn't watch Becca's last video, I want to play a little part of it. Because now we've got Gypsy trying to hold on, I gotta try to hold on. Let me do this. Sorry, guys. Now we've got Gypsy trying to say something else about her mom because she's always trying to blame everything on her mom. But listen to this from Becca's video yesterday.
Gypsy writes on the left-hand side about halfway down. Now let's move on to other things I remember. Test on my kidneys. As a young child, my mother would always listen to this, you guys. She has never said this before, ever, until right now, within the last couple of days. At the same time, she says this, she's posting this interview with Beatrice Yorker. You go ahead and make the correlation. She writes, now let's move on to other things I remember. Tests on my kidneys. As a young child, my mother would always come into the restroom for when they needed a urine specimen. I remember my mother bringing a safety pin that was pinned to her shirt. And after I would pee in the cup, she would prick her finger and drop a few drops of blood into my urine, then claimed I had blood in my urine due to issues with, sorry, I have to find it, with issues with my kidneys. Then claimed I had blood in my urine due to issues with my kidneys. Okay, again, this is another example of her making a false symptom. So Gypsy was so perplexed that she could not come up with her mom making false symptoms. She uses the ridiculous Oragel thing that's been debunked. And so she knows that's not really a good one. And so she's racking her brains. She's racking her brains, you guys, to come up with, right? She's racking her brains. Oh, I better come up with something else. I need to come up with another way that my mom gave me a false symptoms. There really isn't one that I can think of because all my symptoms were real. But let me think. Oh, I remember I was just listening to that Beatrice Yorker's interview. Yeah, that's the ticket. That's the ticket. Now, can I?
Now, guys, there's no way we cannot prove by 100% that that she didn't actually do that. Of course, we can't prove it because I wasn't there, Becca wasn't there, but come on, it makes sense. How many other people have said that Gypsy had stole their story? How many? Oh my gosh. And I've never even heard of her even talking about something was wrong with her kidneys. And now we got that. But guys, I want you to tell me what you think, how ridiculous this is. I love each and every one of you. And I hope to see you in the next video. Love you guys.